weeks than most people do in an entire 12 months. It sounds pretty bold, right? Well, today, we're diving into the powerful system from the book The 12-Week Year that promises to help you do exactly that.
You know the feeling, right? It's January 1st. You've got these huge ambitions, a brand new planner, all the motivation in the world. But then life happens, and by the time spring rolls around, those big goals are kind of just a distant memory.
Well, here's the thing. You're not alone. And according to the authors of this book, the culprit isn't a lack of willpower or bad motivation. Nope. The real barrier standing between you and your goals is the way we all think about the year, the traditional 12-month calendar. Let's break down why.
So, what's so wrong with how we see the year? The book calls it the annual thinking trap. And trust me, it's a really powerful force that holds a lot of us back without us even realizing it.
The authors bring up this really powerful idea that, for most of us, there's a huge gap between the life we're currently living and the life we know we're capable of living. And that gap isn't because we don't know what to do. It's because we failed to consistently do it. And believe it or not, the 12-month calendar is a huge reason why. I mean, this timeline probably looks pretty familiar. In January, December feels like a lifetime away. So we think, oh, I've got plenty of time. And what does that do? It totally kills our sense of urgency. It leads to this long, slow drift through the middle of the year, followed by a crazy last-minute panic to try and salvage our goals.
But that year-end rush, it actually proves a super important point. Deadlines work. When that finish line is finally in sight, we suddenly become incredibly focused and productive. Just think about it. A lot of us get more done in the last 60 days of the year than we did in the previous 10 months put together.
So, the big question is, how do we tap into that incredible year-end focus all the time? Well, the solution is actually pretty simple, but it's also incredibly effective.
The core idea here is to just completely abandon the concept of a 12-month year. It's just this arbitrary structure that gives us a false sense of security and absolutely kills our momentum. So, this is the big switch. Your new year is now 12 weeks long. That's it. Every 12 weeks, you get a totally fresh start to hit a new set of goals. And this one little shift in perspective is a total game changer. Why? Because the deadline is never far away. It creates this constant, positive sense of urgency. You literally can't afford a bad month, because a month is a third of your entire year. Every single week counts. And hey, if you have a tough 12 weeks, no big deal. You just reset and go again.
Okay, so we've got a new time frame, a new clock. That means we also need a new way to plan. And it all starts not with what you want to do, but with what you want to be. It all begins with your vision.
The book really emphasizes this powerful loop. See, to change your results, you have to change your actions. But to change your actions consistently, you first have to change your underlying thinking. And that whole process kicks off by having a really clear, compelling vision of the future you want to create.
And this gets to a fundamental truth about getting things done. Achieving big goals means doing things that are uncomfortable. And the only way you're going to consistently push through that discomfort is if your vision for the future, your big why, is way more exciting and emotionally compelling than your desire to just stay comfortable right now.
Now, with that vision as your fuel, the actual planning becomes really simple and focused. You're not creating some laundry list of a dozen different goals. No, you pick just 1 to 3 really high-impact goals for your 12-week sprint. Then you break them down into the specific, actionable things you need to do every week and every day to make them happen.
But look, a great plan is just a nice idea on a piece of paper without action, right? The real magic happens in the discipline of weekly execution. So let's take a look at how that actually works.
So this isn't just your typical to-do list with a bunch of random tasks. Your weekly plan is your battle plan for the week, and it comes directly from the tactics you already defined for your most important goals. It keeps you laser-focused on what truly matters every single day.
This quote from the book really gets to the heart of the whole thing. Your future isn't something that just happens to you. It's the direct result of the small, consistent actions you take day in and day out. The weekly plan is what makes sure those actions are the right ones.
And here's what's so great about this. You don't have to be perfect. The book argues that if you consistently execute just 85% of what you plan to do each week, you will almost certainly achieve your 12-week goals. So this isn't about perfection, it's about powerful consistency.
But to execute that consistently, especially when it gets tough, you need the right mindset. The tactics are powerful, for sure, but they're all built on a foundation of 3 core principles that really drive high performance.
These are basically the engines of the whole system. You've got accountability, which is really about personal ownership, not blame. Then there's commitment, which is like a personal promise you make to yourself where you accept 0 excuses. And finally, greatness in the moment. This is the idea that your success is decided by the choices you make right now, in this moment.
And this leads to such a powerful realization. You don't become great when you finally hit the goal. You become great long before that happens. You become great in each and every moment you choose to do the hard, necessary work when nobody's watching. The results? They're just the confirmation of a greatness you've already been choosing all along.
So just think about that for a second. Imagine bringing that focused, high-energy, deadline-driven intensity to your most important goals, not just once, but 4 times every single year. What could you accomplish? What part of your life could you completely transform?
The book leaves us with this beautiful and really urgent question from the poet Mary Oliver. At the end of the day, the 12-week year isn't just another productivity hack. It's a framework for intentionally living the life you know you're capable of. It's about taking back control of the clock and deciding, starting today, to build the future you really, truly want.